All right. Sherry is not on the call, but she has a quick question. We have an open CEO shadow rotation starting on Monday. What's one thing you'd say to someone who is on the fence about joining?
Oh, I think I'll let CEO Shadows speak for that if there's any ex-CEO Shadows on the call.
Yeah, I'm here. And so, hi, I'm Shane Rice, CEO Shadow. This is my first week, and I'm learning about all the functions of GitLab and getting an introduction to Silicon Valley. And I will say that it's really interesting to get an inside look at Sid's day-to-day. If you haven't looked at his calendar, it is like slam-packed, full of, very interesting calls, not just, internally, but also with, people all across Silicon Valley and in the industry. It's a great opportunity to see how Sid operates and how he thinks. And, if you join, you'll get to spend your first week with me. And so I think that's a great reason to join as well. You'll get a little bit of training and insight from my first week in the program as you ramp up. So yeah, I'll let Parker go if he has anything to add.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I would say just do it. I don't know if there's ever a great time to go and take 2 weeks to do something different. But it's really energizing. I think it's awesome to get a different kind of exposure to the functions of the business that we may not get. And to be honest, Shane is a really good.
Sorry, it looks like, Parker, I think you were cutting out, but I'm not sure if that was just on my end.
Yeah, I think it's my internet. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries. Anything else from Shadows?
I'll just say that I think it's a lot less intimidating than you might think, and Sid is very gracious with the Shadows. And also, I think Shane would be a great person to lead you into your start. So I would highly encourage it.
Hi, Sid. What are you most looking forward to at SCO next week?
Yeah, thanks for asking. First of all, I look forward to kind of celebrating the last year. We've had an amazing year, and during a pandemic, we overachieved on our goals, and we quickly, in marketing, for example, we quickly changed our go-to-market strategy. We're able to make up for the missing in-person events. So I look forward to celebrating that. And then I'm excited about our channel program. I'm excited about our partners, mostly the strategic partners, Amazon, GCP, VMware, and IBM. And I'm excited about the new comp plans. I think they're a huge improvement. So those are things I'm looking forward to. Thanks for asking.
Awesome, thank you. I have the next one as well here, so I won't read the enttar long question, but
please
do.
Like
do you want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, people want context. Like you're a smart person. You have context that is helpful for people to see. So please don't shy away from that. The fact that I already put my answer in doesn't mean that I'm not interested in the question.
Okay. So we've started positioning marketing of GitLab more towards the DevOps platform, and it seems like we're de-emphasizing the plan and create stages quite a bit. But as I watch Atlassian and follow their website, I notice they're positioning Trello, Jira, and Confluence as this entry point for less technical users. And I think this adds a lot of seats outside of R&D because you have project managers and other people in the company all involved. And I think GitLab's product in this realm is more competitive than 2 years ago, just using it for my own team. So I'm kind of curious if we've over-rotated here, away from marketing this part of what we offer, and just what your perspective is on that.
Yeah, I think you're right that our product is much better than 2 years ago, and we might not have kind of embraced that ourselves. But I think about what does it take to be competitive, 2 thoughts come to mind. I think we need Jira import, custom fields, and enforcement of workflows. And then I also think that right now the price jump from $19 to $99, if you're just interested in the plan features, is pretty steep. So I'd love for us to consider a $19 add-on to premium to get the plan features that are in Ultimate.
Makes sense. Cool. I have the next one here. How do you view Microsoft's approach to tightly bundling digital transformation software like GitHub with Office versus the more open approaches that Google Cloud and Amazon are taking? Do you think we'll see more consolidation to offer similar GTM approaches for some of these cloud platforms over time, like Atlassian getting acquired by a big player?
Yeah, as far as I've seen, they've bundled it with Azure more than with Office. Are you seeing something different?
My impression was they're kind of bundling it all together, but maybe I'm not understanding what they're doing.
They're bundling it all, but it's one big Azure bundle that then includes Office and includes GitHub. It makes total sense from their perspective. I think that what's also happening is that some GitHub features are becoming Azure only, like code spaces. And I think that that helps to make clear that GitHub for Microsoft is a vehicle to drive more Azure. And I think we should capitalize on that by getting closer to every other cloud and making sure that we have a multi-cloud offering that works great on Azure. Like our biggest customer is like on Azure and using GitLab. So it should work great with Azure, but also with everyone else. And we should have the whole rest of the market rooting for GitLab.
Thanks, that's really helpful. And I think my last question here for a bit is, if you had one wish for Jeff Bezos as he heads out of Amazon's CEO and also founder role, what would it be? I see you linked to something here.
Yeah, Paul Graham tweeted 3 hours ago, imagine what an effective philanthropist Bezos could be. If he picks the right problems, he'll absolutely crush them. So for the benefit of the world, that is my wish for his next role. Valerie, thanks for putting in a question.
Hey, Sid. Just wondering what our interest level is in the low-code, no-code space, because it sure seems like it's exploding in popularity in the enterprise space right now.
I think it's a very interesting space. I think there's a whole bunch of different tools that are all called low or no code, which are very, very different. It's like all the way from Airtable and Retool to things that are Hackbox and things like that just make it easier to deploy apps. So it's a very wide space. I'm interested, and I'm outside of GitLab. I've taken an interest in an individual capacity in a project called Node-RED, which I find very interesting. So I think it's an interesting space, and I think we should make sure that GitLab works great with these solutions.
Thanks, Sid.
All right, another one from me, Sid. What open job position at GitLab do you feel is the #1 most important to fill right now?
Yeah, thanks for that. And Eric put in a link for the existing direction page of no low code. Thanks for that, Eric. I think right now the most important thing is that we get back on track with sales hiring. We're behind where we plan to be, and now it's getting to a point like if we hire if we don't make up that lost ground, we're going to miss targets. So that's the most essential thing.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. Joe.
Yeah, I've got the next one here, and I guess Unfiltered is a treasure trove of videos and content. And one of the, videos I stumbled upon was your Y Combinator demo day from 2015. So curious what you remember from that day and what questions you and Dimitri got after your introduction.
Two questions come to mind. One is, we signed the paperwork to invest. Do you mind us not investing? Because I'm friends with the co-founder of GitHub, and they really didn't want me to do this deal. The other one was at the closing of the market. It's so demo day is like super busy. So there's a huge crowd of people, and we were kind of in this meal, like we were taken by the crowd going outside, and Aston Kutcher came by with like an entourage and all kinds of people chasing in. It was like, hey, Sid, do you have a business card? I'm like, no, do you? He's like, no. We're like, we'll find each other as we separated in this maelstrom. But he ended up investing in our seat. So I ran out of business cards, the thing that is not allowed at all. Chad.
Hey, Sid. Really appreciate you doing these things. That's awesome. So sometimes there's discussions about who's responsible for something, and it's not clear who it is. One that I'm currently involved with is the spam and CAPTCHA stuff. Like I ended up touching this code as part of snippets, which is part of the edit group, but I ended up doing some sorely needed refactors on the front end and back end, and identifying a bunch of other work that could be cleaned up and followed on, and some bugs and stuff. So, but it's not clear who's the owner of that. And the second example, the www, I know that you're aware of that, and I really appreciate there being progress made on that. But the situation I find myself in is, I want to help with this stuff, and I want to do good for the company, and like I have the context, but the editor group, we currently already have 7 different areas of responsibility, and I have to do my job there, and I don't want to volunteer for all of the extra things, or at least not completely. So it seems like it would be helpful, given how these discussions have gone, if there were more process around this, of saying, okay, here's something that's not clearly owned, at least it's not written in the handbook. Who owns this? Or if it's unclear, like what different groups own what parts of this, and a process to get that resolved. So as more people run into them, there is a clear ownership and a path forward for whatever it is.
Yeah, thanks for that. You're very right. Like you see, like in most companies, like 80% of the stuff doesn't have a super clear owner, and we're spoiled because we've done an amazing job of defining owners. And anytime it's not clear, you find like, wow, that's a lot of inefficiency. So I really appreciate you raising it. It should be clear. Product should make it clear. The CAPTCHA thing should be in the features.yaml on the categories page, and I will make sure it is. So thanks for raising it. The WW repository, it needs to be split, but it needs to be split in the right way. I've seen a lot of proposals that I don't think split it up right. For example, we have a /company that has content that should be under /handbook. So that probably either needs to be part of the move or needs to be moved first or something like that. But the handbook should go to L&D. The marketing side should go to marketing, and that repo should be split to separate the two concerns. So I'll take this to the R&D weekly call or bi-weekly call to make sure it gets addressed. And if you have something like this in the future, do raise it. The company owes you a clear DRI for anything. And if you can't resolve it via the management chain, feel free to drop it in the CEO channel at any time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you raising it. Danielle.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we have a future where we ever provide version control for things like music and movies and CAD and I guess more visual and graphical things, or weirder file formats beyond what we support today.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think on our strategy page, you'll find the remnants of a vision that encompasses that. I think what has happened is that there's two approaches. There's the Git approach, which allows you to kind of prepare something really big that touches multiple parts of something and present it as one comprehensive proposal. And then there's the Figma approach that focuses more on real-time collaboration and everyone's on the same page the whole time, but it doesn't allow you to like make a big proposal. And the thing is that the Figma approach is so usable and so convenient that seems to be winning in the marketplace. Now, I still think that the make a bigger proposal approach makes sense. Like if you get a movie and you want to do another cut, you can't do that piecemeal. Like you have to move a lot of things around in order for someone to view your proposal. But don't argue with the market. So I'm not sure where it's going. I think a couple of years ago, we saw people building on top of GitLab to do things like editing legal text and things like that. I think that has faded away. People are enamored now with Figma, which is a great product. I'm taking a wait and see stance. On one hand, the usability of Git needs to be solved by having GitLab as a higher layer, but then still you run into things and slowness. On the other hand, real time doesn't allow you to make a coherent proposal, which is also sometimes important. So which one is it going to be? And in the meantime, we should focus on what we can influence. And an example I'm thinking of is like in issue descriptions, I want real-time editing. I don't want version control there. I want us to use that in a meeting instead of a Google Doc. Like this should be an issue where we're in right now. It shouldn't be good. So we need real-time editing for issue descriptions. And then what can we do to improve usability? Probably as soon as a user edits something that causes a merge conflict, we should tell the user like, hey, you're now causing merge conflicts, because they're probably interested. No one wants merge conflicts. They're horrible. The solution isn't locking files or stuff like that. The user is informing people.
Thanks, Sid. I'm copy pasting some great comments in the chat about this as well for the people who have made those. Thank you.
Cool. Tim.
Hey, I was curious how you stay motivated to see through GitLab's continued success. I know recently we've had some folks that have been with GitLab for a while say their goodbyes, and I know how easy after a few years, just having a desire to maybe work on new problems or solve different challenges can be a real kind of threat to keeping people around. So what do you do to stay committed to what we're working towards?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, I'm encouraged that our retention is way better than the industry average. So yeah, you see the goodbye messages of people. That's logical at our scale that some people are leaving. But I think it's very encouraging that we have a lot fewer people leaving than other parts of the industry. I'm motivated because of the opportunity ahead. The DevOps market is going to grow from $8 to $17 billion from last year to 2023. At the same time, DevOps platforms within that market are going to grow from 10 to 40%. So there's a huge opportunity for the best DevOps platform. And I think that opportunity and that potential for continued high growth is what motivates me.
Thanks. I'll pass it off to John.
Thank you. I'm curious, Sid, I've been thinking a lot about newsletters lately as a way to kind of bolster the content distribution for my team. And I'm just curious, do you subscribe to many email newsletters? And if you do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'm not subscribed to like Substack and stuff like that. I'm subscribed to a ton of things that sign me up without me wanting to. My email box is already a mess. So I don't want to make it even more of a mess. As far as newsletters, Strategy is a great one. And I just read the website and the tweets. And newsletters are a bit last year. I think it's Clubhouse now, so I'll be on Clubhouse soon with Austin Allred if you're into trendy things. Yeah, I do think it's a great vehicle, and I love that it's the disintermediation of newsletters, that there's not a central platform that controls them.
Hey, Sid, I just put a comment back up under number 5 because I came in late, sorry, where you and Danielle were talking about Microsoft using Office as a bundle. And actually, I just wanted to add a little bit of clarity there. I think there is a play where if Office is in there and they've got an ELA, they'll use that ELA to then maybe even give away GitHub to get them onto Azure. So Azure's kind of the golden ring, the end goal, but they are leveraging their Office ELAs to get there.
I think it's simpler. We can say I think you're totally correct, and I think we can say it's simpler. Microsoft is leveraging everything they have in a company to get Azure. It used to be everything had to serve Windows, and now it's everything has to serve Azure. And Office is serving Azure. GitHub is serving Azure. And Office is not directly serving GitHub. Both are in the goal of furthering Azure, and it's an amazingly successful strategy, and they're doing really well with that.
Yep.
Thanks for adding that, Cindy. Appreciate it. Brian. Or Byron.
Oh, Byron. Yeah, sorry. Hi, Sid. In the last 2020 AMA, you mentioned that you'd bought a new DJ system and were hoping that your Dutch roots would maybe help your career take off. Are you enjoying it? And have you started a SoundCloud yet that we can follow you at?
No SoundCloud yet. I'm just mixing different songs. Just wanna do that sundown set, and it's been super fun. And this weekend, I actually brought out the system because I taught someone else, Jobert Abma from HackerOne, how to DJ. Now, I'm not the best DJ in the world, but I already had some skills I could teach him. So we had a fun night doing that together. And I'm not super skilled. I'm using like the electronics to help me match beats and stuff like that. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It sounds really good, but I'm not creating songs. I think all the really good DJs today, they make music, and that's a really long time for me ago. Module Tracker and S3M for anybody interested, but not doing that at the moment. It's a bit more time consuming. So I want a little effort and a big payoff, and I'm looking forward to the end of COVID where we can throw parties again. Thanks for asking, Chris.
Hey, Sid. So you talked about the ice skating competition, and I'm not even going to try to butcher the name of it because
Elfstedentocht.
There you go. Just wondering if you think they'll have it this year, and if you would consider going.
Yeah, there's now first ice in the Netherlands, so some people are speed skating, but I think it's relatively late in the year. So I think the odds of something happening are low. For sure, I'm not fit for it. I just bought an elliptical, so I'm hoping to get into shape a little bit more. But if and when it happens, I will be on a plane to the Netherlands, whatever happens.
All right, it is 8:25 Pacific. So we will async the rest of the questions, and I hope everybody has a good day.